Hello, love, and welcome to day 4 and lesson 4 of the course. I hope that you are having a beautiful experience as you move through these lessons. I hope that magic is beginning to reveal itself to you, and that with each day that passes, you are gaining more and more clarity about what it is that you are going to do to manifest your desires, and also about what exactly it is that you wish for and want to get out of this experience and to manifest for the rest of your life. So today we're going to be talking about visualization. Visualization is a super powerful tool. Manifestation is not possible without visualization. One of the things that I've learned as I've cultivated my ability to manifest, and as I have manifested many things in my life, is that the better we are at visualizing what we want, the better we are at manifesting and receiving what we want. When it comes to visualization, there's a lot of key components. First, let me start by saying that you'll read about visualization in your workbook today, but visualizing, very simply put, is essentially imagining your desired outcome. So when you visualize, you sort of close your eyes and you think about what it is that you desire and you picture it happening. Not only do you imagine it as some sort of remote place and time, but you also imagine yourself actually living it. And when we visualize, the more detail that we can imagine, the better the practice of visualization. So it's not enough to, for example, to close your eyes and picture yourself driving a Ferrari. It's not enough to say, one day I want to manifest a Ferrari. That's a dream of mine, and that's something that I'm going to visualize, and one day I'm going to manifest it. To effectively visualize that, you're going to really imagine the circumstance. You're going to imagine the details. You're going to imagine the woman who is driving the Ferrari. You're going to think about who she is, down to the smallest detail. What color shirt is she wearing? What kind of shoes is she wearing? What kind of purse does she have on the seat next to her? What is inside of that purse? What does the wallet inside of that purse look like? If you took out the debit card inside of that purse and you were able to look at the bank account that is connected to that debit card, what would be inside of that bank account? Imagine that woman. What does she say to herself when she looks in the mirror? What does she think? What does she do? What are her relationships like? I mean, you can get into more and more detail. You kind of get the picture of what I'm talking about. But the more we fill in detail around our visualization, the more real it becomes, and the clearer the picture that we provide to the universe. So again, the universe is vibrational. So as you're moving deeply into these visualizations, and as you're imagining this picture in your mind, you're creating a field of energy in your heart, in your soul, in your aura, in the room in which you sit. And the universe is picking up on that energy, and the universe is amplifying that energy. And the more that you move deeply into that visualization, the more energy that is created, and the more that the universe can amplify that energy, can infuse your intuition, and then you can walk more strongly, confidently, effectively, and powerfully on your path toward manifesting that visualization into reality. So visualization is very powerful. There is a visualization meditation here in lesson 4 that you're going to walk through. But aside from that, I also invite you and encourage you to practice visualization on a small scale. If there are things that cause you anxiety, you can use visualization to overcome those things. So most of the time when we have anxiety, the reason that we have anxiety is because we are imagining some outcome that makes us anxious, that brings us fear, that makes us feel badly. And so we're actually using visualization in a negative way. All tools, whether manifestation, visualization, or any other, can be used for good and it can be used for bad. So if we're using visualization, and now I'm going to use, for example, my fear of public speaking. So I used to have this incredible, debilitating fear of public speaking. My anxiety was so bad, not only could I not even think about speaking in public, but when I was in high school and at certain points when I was in college, my anxiety was so bad that I couldn't even answer a question. I couldn't, even if I knew the answer to a question, I couldn't raise my hand because it would require me to then speak in front of a class, and I could not do that. So I kept my mouth shut. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people allow fear and anxiety to hold them back. Later on in my life, you may or may not know this, but there was a period of time where I became a motivational speaker. So how the hell did I go from not being able to raise my hand to answer a simple question to being able to speak in front of auditoriums full of hundreds of people? And let me tell you something. I worked inside of a finance association, and the highest level financial professionals in the world were members of this association. So we had the CFO of Walmart, the CFO of Microsoft, the CFO of all of these big Fortune 500 companies. And at times I was required to speak in front of them. And later, when I launched my own motivational speaking business, I had maintained some of those connections, and I was invited to events to speak motivationally at those events and in front of these caliber of individuals. So, you know, public speaking is a fear. There's lots and lots of different things that are fears, but all of these things can actually be overcome through the practice of visualization. And so around that time, I had begun to understand the power of visualization. And so I utilized it to overcome my fear of speaking. And how I did that was I simply imagined myself giving those talks and doing so without any anxiety whatsoever. So the night before I would be set to give a talk, I would really just go into a deep visualization meditation where I would imagine myself giving my speech, giving my presentation with no fear, with no anxiety, I would be calm, I would be graceful, I would be effective, I would be efficient, I would be making eye contact with the attendees in the room, I would be getting my message across, I would be touching people and transforming their lives, and whatever the content was, my content would be reaching my audience and changing them. And you see, why am I going so deeply? Because again, the deeper we get and the more specific we get with visualization, the more effective the practice is. So not only would I imagine and visualize all of the ways in which I wanted my presentation to go, but I would also try to imagine the circumstances. If I knew what the room looked like, I would think specifically about what the room would look like, how I would feel within the room, how my feet would be planted on the ground within the room, how many chairs there would be, what I would have in my hands in terms of a pointer for a screen or cue cards or whatever have you, what I would be wearing, how my hair would be done. I mean, again, the more specific that we get, the deeper we get into that moment, the more clear of a picture that we are painting, the more precise the energy becomes. And again, the universe feels that energy, the vibrations become clear. We internalize those feelings, and when the actual event takes place, we can then tap into the feelings that we want, the feeling of peace, of confidence, of knowing that this is going to go the way that I want it to because I prepared. Not only did I practice in a practical sense, but I visualized myself doing this, and I know that I'm capable of it. So visualization is very, very powerful when it comes to overcoming fear, when it comes to manifesting, and also even when it comes to simple things like having difficult conversations, attending something that might cause you anxiety, or doing something that you have always wanted to do but have been afraid to do. So don't ever limit yourself. There is all kinds of ways that you can use visualization in your everyday life and in your practice of manifestation. So get to it. Enjoy today's lesson. I hope that the meditation is very fruitful for you, and I will see you very soon in the next lesson. Lots of love, lots of light. I'm holding space for you, and I love you.